The next ones get a little bit longer. These ones are going to have variables on both sides of the equation instead of just one side of the equation. It says, customers of a phone company can choose between two service plans for long distance calls. The first plan has a $25 monthly fee and charges an additional 13 cents for each minute of calls. The second plan has a $29 monthly fee and charges an additional 8 cents for each minute of calls. For how many minutes of calls will the two plans be equal? So the first plan, $25 fee plus 13 cents for each minute of calls. Again, we're looking for how many minutes. I probably should have wrote down that I was going to use that for my variable. We want our two plans to be equal. Second plan, $29 and additional 8 cents for each minute of calls. So 25 plus 13 cents times M equals 29 plus 8 cents times M. We want to solve this for M. Now, it doesn't matter which side you move your variables to and which side you use your numbers to. A lot of people like to keep their variables positive. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and subtract my 8 cents M, bringing that over here, which means I want to move my numbers to the opposite side. So I'm going to subtract my 25, move that over there. So if I take 13 cents and I subtract 8 cents, I get 5 cents, 0.05 M. And if I take 29 and subtract 25, I get 4. To go ahead and solve that, I'm going to divide by my 5 cents. So 4 divided by 0.05 gives me 80 minutes. If we talk on the phone for 80 minutes, each of those two plans will cost me exactly the same thing. Number 11 says a small publishing company is planning to publish a new book. The production costs will include one-time fixed costs such as editing and variable costs such as printing. The one-time fixed costs will total $46,852. The variable costs will be $9 per book. The publisher will sell the finished product to the bookstore at a price of $22.25 per book. How many books must the publisher produce and sell so that the costs equal the money from the sales? So I'm looking for the number of books. I want my costs to be equal to my sales. Well, I had two different kind of costs. I had the one-time fixed cost of $46,852, and I had variable costs of $9 per book. So $9 times B. I want my costs to be equal to my sales. I'm going to sell my books for $22.25 per book. There's my equation. I want to solve it for B. I have B's on both sides of my equation, so I'm going to move my B's over here to the right side since I don't have any constant terms, plain numbers without variables, on the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract my $9. So $46,852 is going to equal, if I take $22.25 and subtract 9, I get $13.25B. So for my variable costs, I get an extra $13.25 by selling those books, but I've got to make up all these fixed costs. So again, just to solve that, I'm just going to divide by the $13.25. So if I take $46,852 and divide it by $13.25, I have to sell 3,536 books just to break even. If I sell more than that, then I'm going to make a profit of $13.25 per book. Number 12, John will rent a car for the weekend. He can choose one of two plans. The first plan has an initial fee of $57.86 and costs an additional 11 cents per mile driven. The second plan has an initial fee of $53.96 and costs an additional 15 cents per mile driven. How many miles would John need to drive for the two plans to cost the same? I'm going to let M be my miles. So, first plan, initial fee of $57.96 and additional cost of 11 cents per mile driven, so 11 cents M. I want the two plans to cost the same, and my second plan, my fee is $53.96 and an additional 15 cents per mile driven. Solving these, I got to move my variables one way, my numbers the other way. Since I don't really like working with negatives, I'm going to move my M over to the right side. You can move it to the left side, you'll just end up with both negatives. But if I move it to the right side, then I'm going to end up with a positive. So I'm going to move my variable there, and I'm going to move my number over here, and that way I won't have to deal with the negative numbers. So $57.96 minus $53.96 will give me $4. 15 cents minus 11 cents is going to give me 4 cents per mile. In order to solve that for M, I'm going to divide by my 4 cents. So if I take 4 divided by 0.04, I get 100 miles. I can write 100. 100 miles would be the number of miles where the two plans would cost exactly the same.